everyone, Abby with craftycorner.com here, and today I'm going to show you, a few weeks ago I threw a baby shower for my sister and made this felt and paper pinwheel boutonniere for my mother, the grandma-to-be, and I posted it and you guys just were raving about how much you liked it and you all wanted a video tutorial. So that is what we're going to do today. I can show you some simple steps on how to recreate this for yourself. Put these off to the side. First thing I want to tell you is the paper that I'm using for this boutonniere, which comes from the Blvd Sunshine and Happiness kit. Now this is a little bit of an older kit. Crafty Corner still has it, but I kid you not, this is my favorite kit right now. With spring and summer, and of course there's still snow on the ground, but this kit just makes me so happy. It is full of bright and beautiful papers. And I'll show you a couple of my favorite here. My all-time favorite one out of this kit is this beautiful, it is like a really bright, not quite orange, not quite yellow, it's like a tangerine polka dot paper. So cute. Another one of my favorites is this cloud sheet, which is actually the back to a blue chevron sheet, which I really like both, so I'd probably cut it in half and use both sides. And then of course the paper that we're going to be using today on our pinwheel boutonniere is this polka dot and stripe paper, which is also really cute. Again, Blvd Sunshine and Happiness, super cute. That's what we're going to be using today. So the first thing I did was I cut out a 3x3 piece of paper of whatever paper you use. Like I said, I use that Sunshine and Happiness kit. And then you're going to cut out a matching piece of 3x3 felt. Now, I'm using 3x3, I should say. Sorry, I should explain this. This boutonniere here, which is a little bit bigger and would be nice for like an adult, I ended up doing 4 inches by 4 inches, which is the perfect size for a boutonniere. As you can see, it fits right in my hand. This boutonniere that I'm making today, I decided to do a hair smaller because I'm going to give it to one of my niece or nephews for like a birthday party. I'm going to keep it for a smaller kid, maybe even for Easter. Maybe we'll give it to the egg hunt winner, which would be a really cute idea. So, you cut out I'm using 3x3 again. So this is a 3x3 piece of paper, square, and a 3x3 piece of felt, square. And I am using a nice turquoise blue felt. So the first thing you're going to do is take your thing, and if you don't want to do this by hand and you don't trust yourself, you can take a score tool and a ruler and go ahead and score just a hair in from each corner and put the ruler from corner to corner and score. Now you don't want to score the center. You want to leave this like a penny size, no cuts, no scoring, nothing. You don't want to touch that center point. So if you score just a hair in from each corner if you want to line up a ruler. I did it by hand. It's really quite simple. You just go from the exact corner and you cut just about 1.5 inches in towards the center point. And if you put your thumb kind of on that center point and then just turn it, you have kind of a starting point of where to cut to. So you just go, I already did this, so you can kind of see towards the center. Now I did the same thing with my felt. If you have a pair of fabric scissors, that would work really nice with the felt because it's a little bit harder to cut. But again, just by hand, nothing has to be perfect. Choose that center point and go ahead and just cut each 4 sides in so that you have a matching piece. Next, you're going to line them up. I'm going to go ahead and lay them right on top of each other, and I'm actually going to place these off to the side for now. And the next part I'm going to show you is how to sew it together. What I did was I took a normal sewing thread, nothing special. It's like a dual duty plus. It's just a button and carpet. It says thread, just white. You can use any color. On the first boutonniere that I did, I actually used DMC floss, or you can use twine if you have a cute twine with like a shimmer in it or something. I tied a big fat knot on the end so it doesn't pull through, and then on the other end I just pulled it through my needle, and I did not tie it on my needle. I'm actually just going to leave, if you pull it through pretty far and pull it nice and tight and make sure to hold the end of that needle, that thread should stay in there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my pinwheel, and we have them nice and lined up. Like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and find that center point. That's not quite center. There we go. I'm going to pull it through. Now I'm not going to pull it through all the way. I'm going to pull it through just partially, just so I have enough to kind of move it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my very first point And I'm going to go ahead and stick that on my needle. Be very careful about your fingers. And I'm going to kind of hold it on there. I'm still holding the end of the needle. I'm going to go ahead and twist, and I'm going to grab a point, skip a point, grab a point. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that other point on that triangle there and go to the next one. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that one on. And it's going to go kind of right on top. I'm going to go ahead and skip a point, grab another point, stick it right on there, and then I'm going to grab this last point here. This needle's a little big. I'm doing this a little smaller, so this is actually probably, it's a little easier with the bigger boutonniere. Not a big deal. I'm actually going to pull my needle through just a little bit for this last point, just because it's going to be a little easier, because this one's pretty small. Okay, last point. Go ahead and stick it down. And now I'm going to pull my needle through, grab the end so my thread doesn't come out, and I am going to pull this all the way through. And it's going to catch on that big fat knot. Now, there is a button on this one, and I actually sewed this button on. If you're going to do that, this is the time that you would do it. I would go ahead and stick my button on, and then I would go through the button, back down through the button, and back through the end of the pinwheel. But for this case, because it's a little bit smaller, I didn't have a smaller button. Or I didn't actually pick one. I probably have one, I just didn't pick one out. Sorry, not prepared. So I'm actually just going to sew this one, and then we can hot glue a button on later. So I'm going to pull this through. And you know, I am actually just going to leave. I only did that once. I'm just only going to do it once. It doesn't need, if you have a nice thick sturdy thread, you only need to go through once. Now, this is one of the hardest parts. When you come back to the back of the pinwheel, a good way to tie a knot when you're sewing, and I don't know the technical term of this, but I will show you, is if you go in and out, grab the end of your needle there, hold your thread, pull almost all the way through, not all the way, and once you get to that bottom, before you pull it tight, take your needle and loop through one more time, and then pull it, and it's going to actually tie a knot on the back of that pinwheel. I'm going to go ahead and do it again, in, out, pull it almost all the way, and then go through that loop right before you pull tight. Do it again. I am going to do this probably about, probably about 2 more times. And I'm actually going to turn my pinwheel and kind of do it at another angle. And what this is going to do is this is going to create a nice big fat knot and tie it nice and tight on the back of that pinwheel. Nothing special. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And there's our pinwheel. Now remember, on this one here, you can sew on the button, or at this point what you could do is just take hot glue, and you could just hot glue a button or an embellishment or a sparkle light. And let me see here. You know what? I actually have these little candy embellishments that are super cute, and I have a nice teal one here that would actually look really nice in the center. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that on. Get a single one there. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun, and I'm going to make a little blob right over where that glue. Of course, don't burn yourself, guys. So I'm going to make a little blob of hot glue, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And that makes a nice cute center too. So you can use button, embellishment, sparkle light would be really cute, anything you want. Now, the next part of this project is adding the ribbon for the back. Now I am using a really beautiful long strip of May Arts chevron ribbon. I have this in green and the teal. For this one I'm going to use the blue or the teal again. You cut a nice long strip, and you add a nice big blob of hot glue on your pinwheel to start. So sorry, my hot glue is a little yellow because I've been having it, it's been sitting there for a while warming up. And it's a very old hot glue gun. So you're going to go ahead and stick, now your 2 pinwheel points, you're going to stick your ribbon so your ribbon shows right in between. You're not going to see the back, so this is a pretty thick ribbon and a small pinwheel, but you're still not going to see that. So I'm just going to stick that on there facing that opening between those 2 pinwheel points. Then I'm going to go ahead and stick another blob on there. And I'm going to flip this over to make that little loop. And I'm going to push it down again, and I will show you, kind of makes that loop in between there. So it's facing the opposite direction. Another blob of hot glue. Doesn't have to be a whole ton of hot glue. And I'm going to go ahead and make the other loop on the other side using one continuous ribbon. Doesn't have to be a ton of different loops. You can do that if you want, but this works a lot easier. Now the next, I'm going to put a blob of hot glue, and this time I'm actually going to hot glue this on an angle. I'm going to go ahead and face this towards the top here. So I hot glued it facing that way. Let that dry a little bit, and then you're going to fold it so it's facing the other direction. Some more hot glue, of course. And I'm going to come back around. Now this loop isn't going to turn out perfect, but it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Now this last one, I'm going to go ahead and kind of turn on an angle. I don't know if you can see that. I'm kind of turning it on an angle so it's not completely straight from this last loop I made. And that is because this is going to be one of your pennants which hangs down. And I'm going to make sure to glue that. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And I'm actually going to take last blob of hot glue, and this piece that I cut off, and it usually is a little bit longer. If you have excess, you can always cut it off later. And I am actually going to hot glue that the opposite direction of that other one, angle, to make my boutonniere. And then what I'm going to do, very last thing, is you're going to go ahead and fold your ribbon, and the 2 outer pieces fold backwards, and then you're going to cut towards those last 2 points. That one frayed a little bit, no big deal. I'll fix that later. I just want to show you guys quick how to do this. And again, fold it, and then go ahead and cut towards those points. That one worked a little nicer. And there you have it, little pennant. And there you have it, perfect little candy embellishment. We got a little chevron ribbon, sunshine and boulevard paper, and some felt to make a beautiful pinwheel boutonniere. Now for the back, last thing, you can actually probably hot glue an actual pin on there, but what I did was I literally just used kind of a sewing push pin, and this was for an adult, obviously, and I just pinned it on her shirt, kind of like a normal boutonniere. It made it feel a little bit more real, but for a kid too, you would probably want to go get a little actual pin to pin on them, or you can put a magnet on it. You can use it for a magnet on your fridge. You could do all sorts of things with these fun boutonnieres. So again, I'm going to show you this Bella Boulevard Sunshine and Happiness kit. Go pick it up at Crafty Corner right now. Only a few left. It's really, really great for summer and spring with some really bright, vibrant colors. And thanks for joining me, guys, and have a good rest of your day.